Update. My wife wants a divorce. Original post. It's been 3 weeks since my wife told me she wants a divorce. I'm still reeling from it. I know I'm going to come across badly here. I stepped outside of my marriage, and it is no one else's fault but mine. I have no excuse for cheating on my wife. I work in an attorney's office. It's a busy and stressful job, and I crossed the line with another attorney. The long hours and the stressful environment are something we both deal with, and I let my judgment lapse. She's married with children too, and neither of us has any excuse. I make no excuses for what I did. I watched my brother go through a divorce a few years ago, but I never thought I'd be here. I regret hurting my wife, and I don't blame her for leaving. 3 weeks ago, she told me she knew about the affair. The next day, she moved out. She had started doing Instacart and Uber Eats when I was at work. She saved up money. She's been taking free online classes through the Adult Education Center. She wants to start night school to get a degree. She went out and got a job. After she got the job, she found an apartment. We have an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old. After she got the job, she found daycare for them. Truth be told, I was blindsided when she told me she was leaving. I don't know how she found out about the affair, but apparently she's known for almost a year. I had no idea she knew, or that she was getting things in order to leave me. She didn't act any differently. She was still the same warm and bright person. She didn't change her behavior. She didn't act distant or cold. She was the same loving wife that she always was. I know I made a huge mistake with the affair. My wife didn't tell anyone else about my affair either. She only told people after she moved out. After my wife got a job, she told her sister she was leaving me, but not why. Her sister co-signed for my wife's apartment. But even then, she didn't tell her sister any details until after she moved out. My wife said she kept everything to herself because she didn't want anyone to confront me or talk to me about it until she had everything in order to leave. Even her sister only found out less than a month before my wife moved out. And even then, it was only that my wife was leaving me, not why. I saw her sister a couple of times before my wife left, but just like my wife, she didn't give anything away. I'm still in shock that my wife didn't act any differently or give away what she was doing. I never knew my wife had gotten a job or was taking online classes or planning to leave. My wife told my colleague's husband about the affair. I never really thought about what would happen if we were caught. I guess I thought my wife and I would try marriage counseling. I needed to get this out. I've already had enough of my life made public. I know I only have myself to blame. My wife will only talk to me about our kids. We have agreed to share time with them for now. Shared 50-50 custody is the norm where we live, and my wife says she won't contest that in the divorce. But she'll only talk to me about the kids, not about anything else. The house feels empty without her. It's strange and wrong. I know I was wrong, and I made the worst mistake of my life. I watched my brother go through a divorce, and I never thought I would too. It still feels strange to me. My wife has been living somewhere else for 3 weeks. My wife has had a job for 3 weeks. I'm going to be divorced. Everyone is angry at me for the affair, and I don't even blame them. You don't have to tell me I'm wrong because I already know. This is the biggest regret of my life. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I absolutely love the way she handled the situation. You lost a gem. She figured if her husband could lie to her face and act like everything was fine while she was at home taking care of their kids and he was balls deep in a coworker, then she could lie to her husband's face while she got herself into a position to leave behind all the lies. She chose herself instead of you for once, while you were choosing yourself over her. Good for her. It's going to hurt you more when she finds a new husband who is actually worthy of her time and love. She knew about the affair for a year. He was balls deep in a coworker when his wife was postpartum, and possibly during her last pregnancy. Mistake? LMFAO. The mistake was he thought he could get away with it, a mistake he kept making for over a year. Actually, he didn't say he'd been in an affair for a year. He said his true partner knew of his disgusting betrayal for a year. This guy literally had to be doing this for even longer. This is not a mistake. He needs to accept that this wasn't a thing that happened. This was him actively choosing for over a year that this is the kind of man he wanted to be and then shouting into the void because he can't handle that everyone else now knows it's who he's willingly let himself become. Now for the update. When I wrote my last post, I thought I was at rock bottom, but I wasn't even close. I thought the day my wife left me was the worst day of my life. Not even close. 2 days ago, I was formally served with divorce papers. That was the worst day of my life. That's the update. My wife is making it official now. I know my marriage ending is my fault. I don't know why I even cheated on my wife, who was the best woman I've ever met. I was selfish, and I don't care if anyone calls me names or anything because I already regret ruining my marriage more than anything. You aren't telling me what I already don't know and haven't called myself. Getting those papers was rock bottom. When I look at them, it is the worst regret I have ever felt. I didn't know my wife had a lawyer yet. I'm an attorney, but not in family law, and I thought I had more time because attorneys from law firms are expensive. Everyone is adamant that none of them are giving my wife money or any help. My wife said she wanted to be self-sufficient when she left, which was why she got a job first. She said she found a lawyer through a charity for people who are new to the workforce, after I didn't expect to be served papers so soon, but she doesn't want to talk about this further, only about our kids. Every time I look at them now, it's like a hit to my gut. Even though it's been a month, I'm still not used to any of this. My wife is not living here. My wife has a job now. I don't get to see my kids every single day. I know everything is my fault, and I am the biggest idiot for ruining my marriage. I have the papers to prove it now. It's official now. I'm going to be divorced. Everyone is adamant that none of them are giving my wife money or any help. Does this mean that you're angry that someone is helping her because now she won't have to come back to you because she can't support herself? Because you've clearly tried to figure out who it is. I'm guessing so you can convince them to stop. That's really awful of you. Good for whoever is helping her. Yeah, this is giving I thought she was trapped and would have to stay vibes. In his last post, he said, I didn't know she could get a job. Like, what? Anyone can get a job. It gave, I thought my wife was trapped so I could do what I pleased, vibes, and was very gross. I caught that too. He really thought he had her. It's also why she's so tight-lipped. She knew he thought lowly of her and so she worked in the shadows. Congratulations on getting what you wanted. I have no idea why you're sad or disappointed. That is what you wanted, right? For 365 plus days, you chose a woman who wasn't your wife, so I can only surmise that you didn't want to be married to your wife anymore. Don't worry, your affair partner will probably need a place to live soon, and you can just move her in with you. Then you won't have to sneak around anymore. You're getting exactly what you wanted. Oh wait, you actually thought your wife would be okay with you having a side chick? You thought she would let you screw your affair partner and be excited that you were still coming home to her? Oh no. No. She has more self-respect than that. Either way, congratulations. I believe this is what they call the consequences of my own actions. I didn't expect to be served papers so soon. OP's wife waited an entire year to serve those papers. For her, it wasn't soon enough. Next story. He destroyed me after 7 years of loyalty, cheated on me 2 months postpartum, and now demands a mutual divorce for cash. I gave this man 7 years of my life. 7 years of loyalty, of sacrifice, of unconditional support. I stood by him when he had nothing. Not a job, not a future, not a plan. I worked extra shifts, cut corners, and built a life from scratch, just so he could chase dreams that barely had form. I put mine on hold. I told myself, one day it will be worth it. One day we'll make it, together. When no one believed in him, I did. I believed when it cost me friends, opportunities, and my own peace of mind. I silenced my doubts and swallowed my needs because I thought that's what love demanded. I thought if I loved hard enough, gave enough, we'd survive anything. I became a mother young, not because I was ready, but because he wanted it. He wanted a child, a legacy, something to ground him. I gave him that. I endured pregnancy, labor, sleepless nights. I bled, I broke, I gave birth, and just 2 months after, while I was still healing from the shock to my body and soul, he started an affair with a woman he'd known for a month, a divorcee coworker who saw the money he'd finally started making and moved in like a shadow. Together, they kicked me and our newborn out like garbage. No home, no warning, no dignity. I was sent back to my parents' house, bruised, bleeding, broke, carrying a tiny baby and a mountain of trauma. I didn't even have enough money for diapers some days. Why? Because he stole everything. The savings I'd tucked away while skipping meals. The little nest egg I thought would give my daughter a better start. He didn't just abandon me, he destroyed me. He hit me. He screamed at me until I shook. He told me I was fat, useless, crazy, while I was still healing from tearing in childbirth. He mocked my stretch marks, called me disgusting. He shared my private photos, smeared my name to our mutual friends, and not a single one reached out to ask if I was okay. Not one person checked to see if I had survived. I didn't just lose a partner, I lost my community. I was erased overnight. And now, he has the audacity to stand in front of me and say, "Sign a mutual divorce. Don't file any cases. Then maybe I'll give you some money." Maybe. As if my child's survival should depend on my silence. As if I'm the one who owes him mercy. He thinks he's doing me a favor. Meanwhile, I'm raising our daughter alone. I witnessed her first smile, her first laugh, her first attempt to sit up, all without the man who said he wanted her. I'm scraping by while he plays house with another woman, pretending he's some kind of provider and protector. I'm carrying the betrayal, the abandonment, and the silence, alone. He flipped the moment success touched his hands. He traded in loyalty, love, and fatherhood for someone with more money and fewer responsibilities. He tossed me aside the moment I no longer served his rise, and he thought I would quietly disappear. But I won't. I'm still here. Document everything, all correspondence, and don't contact him again except through your attorney. I second this. As a paralegal, I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you that discovery can be a breaking point in a case. When a client has the evidence to showcase, go scorched earth. Take back all that he stole from you. Ask for alimony and child support, and don't let him get any custody either. I wish you the best and hope he gets his karma. And her too. Most importantly though, keep your kid's best interest first. Too many parents divorce and go at each other, sometimes justifiably, other times not, without realizing that their actions towards each other also affect their kids. They're the ones who are caught up in all of this no matter what happens. I think the kid's best interest would be to cut this deadbeat dad from their life and to make him pay for all that he stole and pay child support. Yeah, sure, but how legally possible is that though? That's the thing. Sometimes, if you absolutely want the deadbeat to have the least chance of popping in and out of the kid's life making trouble, the best course of action is to leave him alone and let him go be a deadbeat that's ignoring the kid. I've seen way too many instances of previous deadbeats deciding to use the courts to screw over the mother because she's gone after him for child support. It sucks for the kid because they're just their father's pawns against their mother. OP knows this guy best, so if she thinks she can get child support without him making a fuss, then great. But if not, then she needs to take her time and plan accordingly. Last story, he stole my cat. He threw away my mom's ashes, and the police did nothing. I got my baby back anyway. This is one of the hardest stories I've ever had to live through, let alone share, but I've been carrying it for over a year now, and I need to let it out. A little over a year ago, I ended a toxic relationship. I thought walking away would be the hard part, but what followed was so much worse. After I left, my ex retaliated by throwing out everything I owned. My clothes, my journals, my keepsakes, and most painfully, my mother's ashes. My mom passed away when I was in my early 20s. Those ashes were all I had left of her. I kept them in a small urn tucked away with a few deeply personal things. I lost her once, and now, because of him, I lost her again. But it didn't end there. He also stole my cat Binks, my little shadow, my comfort through grief, loneliness, and some of the hardest years of my life. He's microchipped in my name. I had the adoption paperwork. I called the police, hoping someone would step in, but they waved it off as a domestic issue. Like that somehow makes stealing my family okay. Blocked on everything by him and his mom, I spent nearly 3 months searching, crying, grieving, not just for my cat, but for everything that was taken from me, until I decided I was done waiting. I made a burner Facebook account, sent friend requests to people on both their contact lists. In the bio, I told the truth. No slander. Just a breakdown of what had happened, the loss, the theft, the pain. I figured if I couldn't reach them, maybe someone close to them would. Within 24 hours, I got a message from a mutual acquaintance. She said she could bring me my cat. I met her in a public restaurant parking lot, just in case. But she didn't come alone. His mother came too. They blocked in my car. She jumped out screaming, shoving me, holding my cat in her arms. She threatened to throw him into oncoming traffic. I still don't know how I didn't lose it right then. I didn't scream. I didn't hit. I kept my cool, barely, and got Binks into my truck. He was thin, a little skittish, but he was okay, and he was finally home. No police action, no consequences for them. But I got my boy back, and I'd go through it all again if it meant keeping him safe. I'm sharing this now because I know someone out there feels powerless, like no one is coming. I felt that way too. Sometimes we have to be our own heroes, especially when no one else will show up. Your strength is awe-inspiring. It's absolutely heartbreaking what you've had to endure, yet your resilience shines through. That's a heck of a storm to weather, and you came out the other end stronger. Enjoy the unconditional love of your furry companion. You've truly earned it. Remember, sometimes the best revenge is living a good and happy life. Stay strong, mate. We're rooting for you. Remember, you are not alone in this, and there are people out there who care. Don't forget to take care of yourself too. Couldn't have said it better. What OP went through is beyond cruel, and the way she fought through it shows unbelievable strength. Getting Binks back wasn't just a win, it was reclaiming something sacred. Truly heroic. You did what no one else would. Thank you. It's nice to hear from time to time. Kind of funny how people who don't know me personally are more supportive and kind than people I call friends. I'm so glad for you and Binks. Now you can sleep. I'm sorry about your mom's ashes. I would be so sad too. I bet if your mom was here, she would say something like, "Oh, sweetheart, those were just my ashes. I live in your heart every moment and I'm always with you." Perhaps you can make a little spot where you honor her in your house that makes you think of her when you see it. I dated someone I got a puppy with. It turned out to be crazy and I ended it. The puppy split time between our apartments and he had given me a key to his place. Naturally, he tried to steal the dog, so I went over with the key and basically stole my dog back. I left the key and took nothing else. I did have to kind of break in because he had the chain on the door. He blew up my friend's phone threatening me, which scared my friend, but I said I had a key. What were the police going to do? Never heard from him again. My sweet dog lived with me until she was 17 and passed peacefully, so loved. Best crime I ever committed.